Now that I got my protein in, start the video. Back when I was in 7th grade, I was 13 years old. I had first discovered pornography, right? It started, and I've talked about this before, you might think this is weird. It started from anime, and it was first hentai, but then it was quickly just pornography. So I discovered that probably beginning of 7th grade. I've sometimes said end of 6th grade, but I really do think I remember one specific memory that I have not shared, and I don't know if I ever will. But I remember when it was, and it was during 7th grade. That is when I fully remember like getting truly into it. And at the time, obviously, I don't think it's bad. Like I know it's bad, but it's fun. It feels good. What's there not to like about it, huh? It's just naked women, big boobies. What's there not to like as this young 13-year-old boy who's like first developing, bro? Like it's actually crazy. It's crazy how early. I probably wasn't even able. Okay, I won't even go. I won't even go there. But you know what I mean. At this point in life, I'm still super young, super little boy, and I guess you could still say I am. But obviously, since then I've grown a lot, and a lot has changed. And I'm gonna be brutally honest with you guys. This has been something. This has been my biggest struggle. It's my biggest vice, but not anymore. As of like 10 days ago, and I know you guys might laugh at me, whatever. Don't laugh at me, okay? But it's really been these last like 10 days of, and after that, on that first day, where I truly decided, yo, I'm done. Because it's not an addiction for me at this point anymore, and it hasn't been for probably, uh, it comes back in waves. And I guess you could say it's still addiction, whatever, but I think really at this point, for the last like month or two, it's not really an addiction. It's just something that wants to stick around in my life, and it's like clawing back at me, like stay. But I gotta leave it, man. I gotta grow up. I gotta mature. This shit is and I'm gonna break it down in the future, but just everything I think about it. But man, it's truly just disgusting. It's evil. It's surface level. It's artificial. It's it's horrible for you, for your mental health, for how you see women. On every level, it's artificial, surface level, bad for you, and honestly, a complete waste of your time and your energy and your seed. If we're keeping it about, it's pixels on a screen. I know everyone says it, but bro, it is pixels on a screen. So yeah, jumping back to 7th grade, man, I was addicted to it for definitely starting off like just getting a month after seeing it and everything. It was full addiction, like boom, every single day. I was doing it. And it's weird to talk about how it's easier for me to talk about this on camera and share it with people online, and like anyone could see this. Like my whatever, my like friends are seeing this. Okay, I don't really care about guys, but like girls that I know, they could just be seeing this. And if you're a girl watching this, I don't know what you're like. No, never mind. You can do whatever you want. But if you're a girl that I know that is watching this, what are you doing right now? No diss, though, no diss. But what are you doing? But yeah, it's funny how this is almost easier to talk about than like with my parents. I'll literally talk about how it is bad and how porn is like affecting people, but I won't talk about really my own experiences, and I've never really have. The closest I've really gotten to doing that is with talking with my brother about stuff like that. But yeah, that's a point I want to make is, bro, this shit is so taboo for some reason, and I think we don't really have a space to talk about it, and I want there to be, and I want to facilitate that. So in the future, you might see something like a community I have that's going to be partially about it, but I'm not trying to promote or anything. But bro, there really is just it's so taboo. No one, why would we want to talk about it with other people? It's like this thing that people honestly we feel like are gonna shame and shun us for. And if I'm being real, some people definitely would. Your parents would be like disappointed, be disgusted, whatever, right? But it's so accessible, it's so easy to get addicted to, it's so stimulating. How can you really not as a young boy? How can you really not? It just isn't fair. And as I kept getting older, I kept telling myself the same thing, bro. You know what I kept telling myself? When I figured out about NoFap and when I got really into that and I was trying my best and, I got away for like a couple weeks and then I went back and I kept the cycle repeated over and over and over for years, right? I would tell myself, look, okay, it's 8th grade. We've been addicted to this for like a year. We're gonna break away from it. So if I'm still doing this in high school, what are we doing? And that thought was almost the idea for myself to be like, okay, there's no way I'm letting that happen. And then I would let it happen. And you just imagine, maybe you don't have to imagine, maybe you can imagine your previous self. Imagine telling yourself, there's no way I'm going to let that happen to me. There's no way in a year I'm going to be in that position. And then a year later, having the thought, I literally did what I said I was never going to do. Like, I literally am in this situation that I said I would never get myself into. I would break this habit and get away from it, and I just didn't. I'm still here. I'm in the spot that I almost shamed my future self a year ago with. I shamed myself with this thought of, oh, there's no way I'll let that happen, and I just did. And that makes you feel horrible about yourself, and then you have the same thought, okay, there's no way I let it happen until next year. And then you do. And look, this video is not to give you answers right now. The baseline of quitting anything is that you don't want to do it anymore. And getting there, there's so many different ways to get there. There's so much work that happens to get there. And sometimes it really just is saying no and never going back. And that is still a lot of work. There's a lot that goes on in between having the addiction and fully wanting to every day to not wanting to at all ever again. Right? And I'm moving closer to this one, and I'm basically there, I think. Like, it's a disgusting habit. And in every aspect, I hate it. It's horrible. You have to almost, this idea of it make you throw up. Like, disgusted, like sick to even see something like that again. So artificial and fake and disgusting. And right, getting to that mindset is how you get away from it. But as time moves on, right, I'm still doing it. And the worst part is, this is really what I want to talk about. I was making videos on this or that, how to quit porn, and I had this one thought to myself that scared the shit out of me. It's that people that have watched my no-fap videos have probably stopped fapping and watching porn because of me, but I'm still doing it every day, every other week, every other 3 days. These periods of just doing it and then not doing it, and doing it, not doing it for a bit, and then I was the guy that was still addicted, even though I was making these videos, helping other people, and I honestly maybe helped other people quit when I myself was still addicted. And that thought, when I was posting those videos, man, and when I look back on them, it scared the shit out of me. I didn't realize until now what it actually did. What the effects of it. I know people say, "Oh, you can't get addicted to porn." Oh no, it's that's not real. Porn addiction is not real. Shut the fuck up. Like, that's something where I'll actually get mad at you. Like, yes, it is, bro. Do not invalidate what I went through. Like, I know it might sound cringe, whatever, if you don't understand it. Like, if you've never watched this stuff, or maybe even if you're like, oh, porn's not that bad. Oh, like, what are you even talking about? When you go through it and you are battling yourself, knowing, like, I hate this. Like, I want to quit, but there's a bigger part of me that wants to keep doing it. And you are losing this battle over and over. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's like any other addiction. And yeah, probably quitting cocaine or heroin is harder, right? I'm not going to say, oh, quitting porn is harder than quitting cocaine. But they're in that same category. Don't just push it off as like, oh, the boys will be boys, men will do this thing. It's healthy. Just shut up. I hate that. I hate that so much. It just invalidates all these guys' experiences, my experiences. I know this topic is about how it's ruining our generation, but I wanted to talk to you and tell you about my story, my experiences, my thoughts surrounding the whole thing, hopefully so that you can relate to it, you can get value from my story. And so that we can have a basis for the rest of this video. Because what I want to talk about now is how this is really large scale. And I've mentioned a few things earlier, how it's really taboo. There's these like few mixed factors that I think make this probably the worst concoction, the worst habit, disgusting, degenerate activity that almost every single guy is doing. Like, let's face it, if you think about teenage boys, probably around 90% of them, 95 maybe, have seen porn in their life. And probably around 60 to 70% of them are addicted to it. Maybe 50%, 50 to 70%, that range, are actually doing it every single day. Like, I'm not going to go look up the statistics, whatever. Let's be real. That's probably the actual statistic of it. And people will say it has no effect, but bro, it does. Like, realizing after, and I know it hasn't been too long for me. You can literally say, bro, you've only been on it for on this for like a week. But mentally, it feels like I'm just going to be on this forever. I'm done with that. Man, I'm done with it. Like, it's just, I don't want to anymore. I don't want to anymore, and the part of me, there is a part of me that still wants to, I think, but I'm killing that off. And that's just going to take time of me not doing it and staying away, and me just cultivating the mindset that it's horrible. It's caused me so much pain, I'm never going back. But yeah, like, let's be honest, most guys are watching, right? Most guys are addicted to it. Guy you could pick out on the street, is he addicted to porn? Probably. You could probably go look and like see in a crowd of people and be like, oh yeah, that guy's probably addicted to porn. Like, it's just honestly kind of obvious. Not in a way where you're like, oh yeah, this guy has like exhibits these habits or this thing. It's just you feel, like this guy's whatever. He's more popular. He's definitely seen it. He's definitely watching it. Like, he's exposed to these type of things. He watches this type of stuff. Okay, he's definitely watching it. It's almost obvious. Like, you can almost even assume that most guys that you see are watching it, which is crazy. It's crazy. And what I was talking about earlier when I got off on a tangent is I literally did not understand what was happening to me until you've healed a bit. It really does hypersexualize your brain. Like, you don't realize how hypersexualized your brain is. How surrounded it is around sex and around viewing. And I know people talk about, oh, you're viewing women in this way. That you actually are. The way you view women is like they are sex dolls. Like they are sex toys to be played with and to be used for your own pleasure. And I want to just take a step back and like think about how insane that is. You see women as these like this foreign species thing that you're trying to use for your own pleasure. They're human beings, bro. This is some whacked out dystopian shit. This is how most guys that are addicted to porn think about women. They're like these porn figures that are just walking around and you're hoping to get some pussy. Like, that's really what it is. You don't see them as a person, as a human, as somebody to love or to nurture or to grow a relationship with. You see them as this sex toy. That is insane. And that is probably one of the biggest things that you'll realize when you move away from it. The way that you think, the way you start to analyze how you think is like, whoa. Well, why are we thinking this right now? Why are we thinking about this about this girl? Why are we saying this about this girl? Or why, why at these times in my night, whatever, am I thinking in these ways? Am I fantasizing these ways? It's weird. It's not okay. And the more I learn, the more I try to, and I don't do it enough, but the more I try to, read and learn about things like whatever, philosophy and psychology, and it's like religion or more just scripture. It's like, even though I haven't fully delved into any of these things, you start to realize how messed up this is. Like, the thing that should be most sacred and the most intimate, which, sex is the most intimate act there is, it's now displayed like it's just a piece of chocolate, like it's a popcorn in a bucket. Like you just pick it out, like, this looks nice. Is that not mind-boggling? Like, I heard you may have heard this before. Mansa Musa, like the richest man that ever lived. He was like the African, like insanely huge empire, like insanely rich, so much gold. He could not even see more. That rich man ever, he could not see, Mansa Musa could not see more naked women in his lifetime. In his lifetime, even if he tried, than a 5-year-old boy, 8-year-old boy, 6-year-old boy could see just like scrolling on like Google Images, bro. Once you understand how unnatural, how insane, how dystopian this is, like it feels normal, but it's not. It's not. And you might be thinking, "Oh, you're exaggerating." Like, no, Max, come on. This isn't really like that bad, or this. You think it's like dystopian? Like, there's no way. This is like the first level of it. It's gonna keep getting worse. And you got to be one of those guys that doesn't do it, that breaks away. Because I know people will talk about, oh, it's actually it's funny, this nofap space where, like, you're going to start levitating and you're going to start attracting women immediately when you get off nofap. Like, when you stop fapping, you're going to have this sexual energy is going to, like, okay, some of that shit can apply, can make sense. But for the most part, you're going to see the benefits when it comes to your mood and your feeling relatively quickly when you first get off, and then later you'll see more like cognitive, the way you think benefits, right? And you see how insanely weird how your porn brain is literally just wired in this like warped way because of pornography. I think that this is probably the biggest reason why more and more men are antisocial, can't get girls, don't know how to talk to girls, aren't confident in themselves. It's probably, I would say, one of the biggest reasons why teenagers and young guys are looking more to online spaces and online like gurus and coaches and stuff like this for learning how to like be masculine. And even though I think on the YouTube space things have moved a bit past that, but how to be like more masculine, how to attract women, the green flags, whatever, like all this like looks maxing. There are bits and pieces of each of these that are good, but it's gotten to a point where like, yo, do we not know how to connect with humans anymore? Like, what is going on with our generation? Do we not know how to interact with a woman? You know what a woman is, right? She's not this, oh my god, this sex object, the pussy, oh, you start losing your mind. Brother, she is a human, like anyone else. She's not above you, not below you. She is on your level as a human. It is crazy how much this stuff warps your mind, and this is why I think we see so many of the problems socially, with relationships, with confidence of men. That's how we see so many of these problems arising. More and more men that are desperate. All they care about is pussy. All they care about is going on these dating apps and trying to find any girl that they can bang. Like, it is actually insane what it does to your mind. It warps you into thinking that this is normal, that this is how you, like, should live, that this, you're just going to go out. And even for some guys, I think that do get girls and do get laid, they're still watching the pornography. Like, it's next level. And you can see it in your school. You can see it in the people around you. You know the people that do, and you know the people at their school that aren't interacting, that are socially awkward, that don't know how to talk to girls, that don't even know how to talk to guys, because of how isolated and in this like nasty, disgusting world that they've locked themselves in. It truly is the exact opposite of love. It is the exact opposite of intimacy. It is the exact opposite of anything meaningful in a relationship. It is the bare, primal, surface level feeling that of getting off that you feel like you need from pixels on a screen, from these naked women that, like, think this is literally what it is. Naked women that you don't know, watching them through a screen getting banged by a guy that you don't know, that are literally sitting there recording it on a camera, on a phone, like on a GoPro. Like, this dude is wearing like a GoPro on his head to get that POV shot. Like, how, it's insane, bro. It is insane. It is not normal. It is not okay. And this is the problem that has been, the idea that has been pushed, that this is normal. It is. I can't even find the right word for it because I want to say the F word, but then how do I even describe the severity of it? The magnitude is insane when it comes to, I think, how it's affected guys. And you might disagree, whatever. But it's at least affected social interactions, the social lives of guys, relationships for guys, like the disparity of men with sex and with relationships, and it's almost more surface level. I guess you could say love, but honestly, everyone obviously wants to be loved, but it's become almost this focus on the sex instead of the love or the relationship. And yeah, guys are desperate, man. You can see that it's at least affected a little bit, and let's be honest, it's affected a lot. You can see that it's affected a lot. And I know I'm rambling here. I know I'm yapping, and I'm probably going to do this in a lot of these episodes. I'm going to try to get better with not yapping so much and not, like, being able... I'm kind of bad at wrapping things up when it's like this. So, yeah, my camera died, and, okay, my mic's still on. But I finished my shake. It's been a little bit. I let it charge. But I wanted to end up this video. I know there's a little abrupt cut there. But I'm going to finish up this video by saying, if you are still addicted to porn and it's really difficult for you and you want to stop, you need to understand that the only way that you are going to get there is by not wanting to do it anymore. Because when you don't want to do it anymore, you're not going to do it. And it's all about getting to that point. Look, in your mind, you gotta change these beliefs that you have. In order to get there, you need to kill the part of yourself that still wants to do it. The reason that you watch porn, that you still do it, even though you say you don't want to, is because there's a part of you that does. You are choosing and you want to watch it. And once you understand that, it almost opens your mind. Like, I have to do mental work. You have to do mental work to rewire your brain that, no, you don't even like porn. This is disgusting. I remember the first time I watched it, I was so disgusted by it, but I couldn't look away. We are naturally disgusted and grossed out by this. It's insane. It's degenerate. It's horrible. It's all of these things, and you must realize that and solidify that in your brain so that you stay away from it, because all of that has built up, all the pain that it's caused you, internalize that and take that with you to killing off that version of yourself that still does want to do it. The best way really to kill that version of yourself off is to not do it. And I know it's hard, I know it's difficult, but you really have to just commit to it. I hope you can do it, bro. In any case, I don't know, this video probably rambled too long, but as always, never stop improving. You'll be grateful for it later.